Greetings, welcome to tinfoilchef.com. In today's video, I am making something that I have wanted to make for a long time. I first thought of this idea the better part of over a decade ago, and I've talked about it occasionally, and everybody that's ever heard about it has always reacted with a general, "Ugh, why would you want to do that?" Well, I wanted to do that because I thought that it would taste really, really good. And since I have finally done it, I can confirm for all the world that I was right. It is very good. In fact, it is excellent. It rocks absolutely a whole lot. What is it, you ask? Well, a long time ago, I decided that I thought it would be a really cool idea to make a pizza including tuna. I've always loved tuna. I've always loved pizza. And I didn't see any reason in the world why they wouldn't work together. Well, what I've got for you here today is a Tuna Supreme Pizza. And I guarantee you, this sucker absolutely rocks beyond any description. It is great. And for all the naysayers and doubters in the world, all I can say is, you have to try this sucker. Believe me, you'll be glad you did. Okay, let's head off to the kitchen and make a Tuna Supreme Pizza. Alright, well, the oven preheats to 450. We start out with a pizza crust mix. I'm using just a basic Betty Crocker pizza crust mix. All you have to do is dump that into the bowl, add 1/2 cup of hot water. Now when they say hot, they don't mean boiling, because that would kill the yeast. What you're basically doing here is mixing this up so that the yeast can activate and it can rise a little bit. Work this into a little ball. As you can see, it's really sticky stuff, and that's why. So the one thing they don't tell you about on the package of the crust is how sticky pizza dough really is. So you take and dust that little flour just a little bit, and that way your dough ball won't stick to it when you go to pick it back out after it's risen. Okay, that needs about 5 minutes or so to rise. Okay, it's been 5 minutes when our dough has had a chance to rise. Now, so that you can handle it without it sticking to your hand a whole lot, what you want to do is just flour your hands a little bit, and you pick that sucker out of there. And the flour that's left in your dish, just spread that out on the counter so you can work the dough without it sticking to the counter. Just form it into a rough circle here, and you just press the edges, and if it sticks, just get a little bit of flour on there and you won't stick to it. Just press around the edge and form the edge of the crust, and press the center down, flip it over and work that side. Basically, you're pressing this out into the needed shape and size. It's kind of an acquired skill. You get it pretty good with practice. I haven't done this sort of thing in a long time, so I'm a little out of practice making a pizza crust. Okay, we've got a decent crust here. Oops, a little hole needs to be patched. Alright, now transfer this onto a cookie sheet that has been greased and is ready to receive it. And we shape it. Well, normally I'd like to have this on a round pan so I could shape the crust properly, but don't have that available, so we'll shape it to fit what we've got. And it's a little crude looking, but believe me, it'll work just fine. Okay, now our next step is to sauce the crust. I've got some ragu homemade style pizza sauce in a jar. Technically you could say this is kind of a cheat, but then again, any sauce that works is good. And this is actually a pretty decent sauce. Just bringing out almost but not quite to the edge. And that edge is what's going to eventually be the crust. Just kind of smooth it around there. And spread the sauce evenly across the rest of the pizza. Now, time for our toppings. Now, any good pizza, start out with a bottom layer of cheese. You just lightly sprinkle on a layer of mozzarella cheese, shredded mozzarella, or whatever other kind of cheese they like. You don't need a whole lot here because you're going to put the toppings on top of that and then another layer of cheese on top. Okay, start out with what else but pepperoni. Make a series of circles out of the pepperoni. They don't have to touch. If you want to double up and make super pepperoni, then go for it. That looks good. Okay. Now on top of that, adding a little bit of ground sausage that I browned up ahead of time. Okay, next up, some chopped green onion. Now normally people just take regular white onion or yellow onion or something like that and chop it, put up on there. But I have found that I really like chopped green onion on a pizza. Now if I can only find a pizza shop that will do that for me, that would be great. Next is some chopped green pepper, chopped black olive. Really convenient because they sell it to you in a can that's already chopped. And of course, we have our tuna. I have a 6.5 ounce can of tuna that I have drained. Mind you, this is tuna in water. Tuna in water, drain it, break it up into small bits, and just spread the whole can across the top of the pizza. And of course, wouldn't be a supreme anything if it didn't have some fresh mushrooms on it. Now we're back to the mozzarella. Oops, a little bit of tuna trying to get away. Can't have that. Now on top of the mozzarella, I have just a little bit of a Colby of Monterey Jack blend left, and I'm going to use that on there too. Now this sucker's going to go into a 450 degree oven, and the way I've piled this up, it's going to be 25, maybe close to 30 minutes before it's done. Now we're ready for this to go into the oven. Alright. And that looks pretty good. One completed Tuna Supreme. And one of the ways to tell that it's done is you see the bottom of the crust there is a good golden brown color. Okay, there you have it. One Tuna Supreme Pizza that absolutely will rock your world. Enjoy. I know I sure will.